This issue of students and education, we've had a number of questions raised about secular education in Queensland. Graham from the Sunshine Coast says, in the last year of my daughter's education, I was astounded to learn that in her science class she was shown a video on intelligent design. Why doesn't Queensland have a secular education system like all other states in Australia? And Hugh from the Darling Downs has added that he's very concerned that Hillsong has been delivering, as he says, gendered and sexist programs for girls and boys run at public schools. Why are public schools allowed to run these religious programs instead of compulsory sport? So on secular education.
Thank you. Queensland does run a secular public education system. We do offer religious classes on a voluntary basis. Those parents who choose to place their children in public schools are not necessarily want them completely divorced from an education about the religion of their choice. So it's parents who decide whether or not a child will participate in a religious program, and the schools do provide an alternative for that period of the day for those children whose parents say, no, we don't want that. So that is, and if your caller or your questioner is aware of any deviation from that, we'd be very happy to have a look at it. But I do think it's important that parents who make a choice for state education are able to access religious programs on a voluntary basis, and that those parents who do not want their children in those classes are equally able to ensure that they do not attend. And that's how it's managed at school level. It's not part of the curriculum, it's an optional choice, usually on one session a week in primary school. So I'm not sure about the Hillsong experience, but I suspect that they are there on a voluntary basis, and there are many parents who may want their children to participate in a Christian program of that nature. In terms of Graham's point, I'm not sure of the context in which a video on intelligent design was shown in a science classroom, but if it was in his daughter's last year at school, we do in most curriculum across year 11 and 12 in all schools encourage young people to be critical thinkers, and they are exposed to all sorts of texts and documents and videos where they are encouraged to look at a range of opinions and a range of views to be aware that they are out there in the world. So as I said, I'm not sure of the context in which it was put, but if it was in year 12, I would imagine that that it was in the context of looking at that breadth of views rather than saying this is the teaching of science. So if Graham has a concern about that, however, I would be happy to hear from him.
Terrific.